Hey, future aviators! Welcome to Brightify Me Academy. Your journey to the cockpit starts right now. Stay tuned, stay motivated, and thank you for being here. Let's fly high.
On January 28, 2026, a private jet carrying a high-profile politician literally fell out of the sky. Now, the crash itself was a national tragedy, but the official investigation that followed, well, it uncovered something even more disturbing. This wasn't just bad luck or a freak accident. So, what really happened? The official report tells a story that's way more chilling than you might think.
And that's really the central mystery here, isn't it? You have a sophisticated Learjet 45, you've got highly experienced pilots up front, and the weather is fine. So how does a flight like that just end in disaster? The answer, according to the preliminary report, paints this really unsettling picture of systemic failure.
And this is the line from the Aircraft Accident Investigation Bureau that just stops you in your tracks. This wasn't a 1 in a million mechanical failure or some unpredictable act of God. According to the people who picked through the wreckage, this disaster should never, ever have happened.
So, to really understand why, we've got to break down the chain of events that led to the crash. Think of it as a story in 3 parts. You've got a dangerously ill-equipped airport, a series of really bad decisions, and then a final, fatal turn. Okay, so let's just lay out the basic facts. The flight was operated by a company called VSR Aviation. It went down on approach to Baramati, and the investigation, it pretty quickly figured out that there wasn't one single cause. Instead, what they found was this devastating domino effect of human and systemic errors, where each mistake just pushed the flight one step closer to the edge.
So let's start with the first clue in this whole tragic mess: the airport itself. I mean, long before the pilots even fired up the engines, they were flying into what was a deeply, deeply unsafe environment.
Just look at this list for a second. It really paints a damning picture. Baramati was what's called an uncontrolled airfield, basically no formal air traffic control tower. It had an incomplete wall, which meant animals on the runway were a real risk. But the absolute biggest problems, the ones that led directly to this crash, were the lack of 2 crucial things: modern navigational aids and a proper weather station.
So what on earth is a nav aid? Well, think of it like a super precise GPS for landing. It's a system on the ground that sends signals to the plane, guiding it perfectly down onto the center line of the runway. A modern jet like a Learjet is literally designed to follow these signals. Without them, the pilots are pretty much flying by just looking out the window. And that is a huge problem when you can't see much.
And this right here shows you just how shockingly primitive the setup was. With no real weather equipment, the official weather report came from a guy on the ground looking to see if he could spot a water tank 3 kilometers away. I mean, that's not science, it's a rough guess. And that guess had fatal consequences. Which brings us to our second big clue. Knowing the airport was badly equipped and the visibility was poor, a critical and illegal decision was made. And it wasn't just made in the air, it was made on the ground the night before.
You know, the numbers here just don't lie. For this kind of landing, a visual approach, the legal minimum visibility is 5,000 meters, period. On the day of the crash, that water tank method reported just 3,000 meters. The conditions were way, way below the legal limit to even try to land.
So, this is the bottom line. The second those pilots decided to continue their approach in those conditions, they were breaking the law. You see, the person on the ground's job is just to report what they see. The final decision, all the responsibility, rests squarely on the pilot in command. But the report makes it clear the blame didn't just lie with the pilots. The company, VSR Aviation, filed the flight plan the night before, and they would have known the forecast for a foggy January morning was likely going to be below that 5,000-meter minimum. So they basically set the whole thing in motion, leading the pilots to take off illegally, flying towards a place they legally couldn't land at.
And all of this, it all leads us to the final moments of the flight. With no electronic guidance from the ground and terrible visibility, the pilots were effectively flying blind. The flight data recorders and the cockpit voice recordings, they paint this absolutely terrifying picture of confusion and disorientation. This little back and forth from the radio is just chillin'. The final approach course, that's the exact magnetic heading you need to fly to be perfectly lined up. The pilots thought it was 110. The tower had to correct them to 107. That 3-degree difference might sound small, but it shows they were already lost, completely unsure of where they were. And here, here's the shocking truth that came from the black box. They weren't just slightly off. They were flying on a track that was parallel to the runway. They were completely in the wrong spot, probably looking for the airport buildings through the haze instead of the runway itself.
So this is how it all fell apart in those final fatal seconds. First, they suddenly see the runway, but it's way off to their left, so they yank the plane into a hard, aggressive turn to try and line up. But here's the crucial bit of physics. When you're flying slow, with your landing gear down, a sharp turn like that dramatically increases the speed at which your wings lose lift or stall. The jet entered an aerodynamic stall, and at that low altitude, there was absolutely no recovering.
Now you might be thinking, hey, haven't other pilots landed there in similar conditions before? And honestly, probably. But here's the hard truth. You can get away with breaking the rules over and over again. It only takes one time for all the bad factors, the poor visibility, the lack of navigation tools, the disorientation, to line up just right for a disaster.
So, what's the big takeaway here? The Baramati crash wasn't about one single mistake. It was a total, complete, systemic breakdown. Every single layer of safety failed, from the airport's infrastructure to the company's planning, all the way to the final terrible decisions made inside that cockpit.
And that really leaves us with a final, pretty sobering thought. When a system has this many holes in its safety net, a tragedy like this one stops being a matter of if it will happen and becomes a matter of when. It's just an accident waiting to find a time and a place.
Dreaming of flying across the world? Not just India, but Paris, London, Dubai. An EASA license is your passport to global skies. Recognized in 31 countries and accepted by airlines worldwide. Train in Europe with modern aircraft, multicultural exposure, and the world's highest safety standards. And yes, you can always convert back to DGCA if you choose to return. Confused about costs, universities, or visa process? We're here to help for free. Hurry! Click the link below to register for your free one-on-one consultation today. Limited seats available. Your global cockpit awaits.